We have made a start on 3 different projects in our house.
I wrote a note this Sunday, symptoms like how I forget.
I've got plans for so many rooms in this house. I've been crafting little mock-ups on Canva for how I want these rooms to look. I've always got a running process of little updates I want to do to each room, whether it's painting, skirting, ordering furniture. My mind is constantly buzzing.
I washed my pants on Monday for
We have made a start on a few of these projects. We have the little strip on the side of our house, which we'd like to update. When we first started, it was plain sand. The kids really love this area of the house. It gets a little bit of afternoon sun. The kids actually love spending time there and playing with their toys. So we really want to make this spot a little bit more whimsical. At the moment, it's just like dusty black sand. It's really not that inviting. So our vision is to add some little pavers, to compost and put some little plants in there and just make it a little bit more whimsical and a place for them to play and enjoy. My husband has some crazy paving left over from a project, so we were able to use these as our stepping stones. Amos is mixing up some concrete so that we can concrete them into place. It just makes them a little bit more sturdy. This was a really quick project that we just did after work one day. We're finding that projects are just quite big and we're very busy heading into Christmas. Finding that doing projects around the house, just like breaking them down into little bite-sized pieces, it may mean that we are getting things done a little bit all over the show and not as, you know, like concentrated into one room, one space, one makeover. But we were able to improve this little portion of the house just that little bit, and now we can move on to the next stage of the project, which is finding some plants that will suit the portion of shade and sun that they get there, and yeah, finishing off the makeover. So you'll see that in another video, but we're very happy with how it has turned out so far. The kids love actually jumping from stone to stone. I've seen them playing in this area, and it's actually really cute that they love it so far. And it's not even got any plants, so it's not even looking that pretty, but just little improvements like that seem to make their day.
Forgot I had it there.
So the other area of the house that we started on, I actually mentioned this in our last video, is our daughter's bedroom. So we originally made over this room and it was beautiful pink, subtle French theme going on. We made over a beautiful handmade pine bed. My other daughter had her little cot in the corner. The room is really cute and they absolutely love spending time in it. However, our youngest has transitioned out of her cot, so now we are faced with the reality that we need 2 beds to fit into this tiny room. So we had a little bit of a brainstorm, came up with all these different scenarios of how we can fit the different beds in which way, and we really landed on needing a little bunk bed. So then my mind turns and thinks, how can I make this bunk bed accessible? I really like my kids to be able to just climb up and down, and especially if we're having a bunk bed, I don't really want the falls risk to be too high. I really love that handmade look and the turned pine and all those vintage kind of vibes, but we just really couldn't find anything that was going to be safe, that was going to be practical for our kids. So I was finding on Pinterest a lot of the inspiration pictures actually had just simple Ikea beds made from pine, and I actually realized that it will be quite easy to make this accessible. We can just grab the bed, chop the little legs off the bottom, and I also had a plan to whitewash it because I still wanted it to fit that kind of like pinkish beige-ish theme that we have going on in the room, and I felt like the pine was just that little bit too yellow. My husband just had to roll his eyes because he thought that it didn't make too much of a difference whether I whitewashed it or not, but for me, I can see the difference between yellow pine and like a little bit more of a whitewashed pine. So I ended up spending a day outside whitewashing this timber, making a whitewash. We did that in the previous video as well. We actually whitewashed the first bed that we had for my daughter, and you pretty much just make up a mix of paint and you just water it down. So we had some paint left over in a tin and I just put some water in it, and you just use a rag and wipe it on. You have to be quite quick with whitewash. I find if you wipe it on and you leave it, it will actually like sink in and you'll see the marks of where you've been whitewashing it. So I found, especially being in the sun, I had to work quite fast and really just get in a rhythm and whitewash the whole plank in one go.
I want it. Mum's doing some great stuff.
Thanks,
Mum.
and we had a few little moments where the whitewash, I kind of like splashed it and little splash marks ended up on the wood. Yeah, so that will show up with your whitewashing because it's such a thin coating over the wood. So just be mindful that you need to work fast. So I ended up finishing that and we were able to put the bed together. Amos was able to help me. It's definitely an interesting thing putting together IKEA furniture, but we got there in the end and we had a bit of a late night with the kids, but it was all good. It was all worth it. Amos got the saw out and we chopped off the legs so that the bed is sitting straight onto the ground. And I'm so happy with that because my youngest daughter is able to just crawl into her bed in and out however she likes. And when they climb onto the top bunk, we've already had a few falls from the top bunk, and I can say thankfully that because we took a little bit of that height off, it's not that far to fall, and they're also falling onto soft carpet. So that makes me happy knowing that I have just that confidence that I don't need to be watching that area of the house 24/7. So that is the little update we have done in the girls' room. We still have a few more things to do. I want to find a little dresser to put all of their toys in, and a few little decorating things in their room. So we'll make a full video with that in the future and walk you through the whole process of updating their room for a second time. So another update we did in the girls' bedroom is we also switched out the little curtains that we had there. We had some little sheer curtains, and they were really pretty and they made the room feel really soft, but they just started to get in the way and the kids can pull on them and it just added a little bit too much bulk. So we ended up swapping out the curtains for a little roller blind with a little sheer component to it. So I really love this update too. It's made the window area just look a little bit more streamlined and is staying within the color palette. So I'm really happy. So two little updates we've done in the room so far, and I'm really happy with how it's going.
In the pocket for the doctor.
So the third project that we are starting on is our master bedroom. Usually our master bedroom is like the last area in the house that I want to update. I don't know why, but I think I feel the pull to just make everyone else's little space feel nice and complete and cozy and look nice, and our master bedroom always gets neglected. It's actually getting to the point where it's starting to get to me because I mean, we're here all the time. At the end of the day, when you've put the kids to bed and you're just tired and you want to relax, and then we walk into our bedroom and it's a mess, it's disorganized, it doesn't feel great. You wake up to this bedroom in the morning and I'm looking around and it's just like brings me down. So I thought we can get started on this bedroom and just do a few things that don't cost that much money. Yeah, and just get started on this room and start chipping away at the little stages that I have. So I did sit down and I had like a bit of a plan with how I wanted this room to look. I updated the desk situation. This is where I do my crafting, I do editing. I love my little desk nook. I wanted to look nice, and I had this idea of getting these IKEA cupboards, like a little display cabinet with some glass doors where I can put my little knickknacks, my ornaments, my picture frames and things in there and make it kind of look organized and give it a bit of a home. And also, yeah, just update the desk drawers underneath so that I can, you know, store my craft things a little bit more hidden away and a little bit more organized. And I had the idea of also switching out the curtains over the window for just a normal blind. I mean, the curtain rod was already falling apart. We had sticky taped it and we were really trying to make do. So switching it over to a blind similar to what we had in the girls' bedroom was really practical. It's got the sheer component to it so that we have a lot more privacy being at the front of our house. And we've got the big block out blind as well.
But my writing wasn't vain. What to do, where are the words to tell them I'm doing okay?
So we've switched out the blind. While we were at it, we had orientated our bed against the wall. I know it looks a bit funny, but sometimes we just get this little bug where we want to change things around and see how our room will feel with a different orientation. So we had tried that for a bit and it was good because we could face the computer and we could have little movie nights. I really loved being able to look out of my window while I did crafting and things like that. But funny enough, like even with our bed squished up against the wall, we just didn't have that much room to walk around and things weren't as accessible. So we decided to switch our room around back to the normal orientation with our bed against the wall and the craft desk behind the door area. So yeah, we embarked on this journey, and man, it just got bigger and bigger as we went. One thing led to another. We realized, well, we've got to move our bed over, and then we realized we have a storage bed, so we've got lots of things in there that are weighing the bed down, and so we had to take everything out of the storage bed and put that somewhere. And then while we were taking things out the storage bed, we realized it needed to get cleaned and dusted. So then we did that, and then we took the boards out of the bed, and we realized there were toys and dust bunnies and all sorts underneath that bed. So then we had to clean that, and the day just blew out. Like, we ended up dedicating hours to just cleaning and refreshing our room, which actually works out well, because I think now the room, even though we didn't accomplish much in terms of design or like actually updating the look of the room, it actually feels so fresh and so spacious in here. The new blind has made it feel nice and like filter the light in, and it feels nice and soft and airy and bright and clean and modern. And having everything dusted and cleaned just makes everything feel just that level above. Like in our last video where we updated the laundry, and one of the steps was simply to give it a good deep clean. Honestly, it makes everything feel so much better. So we're really happy with how the room has turned out so far. Just updating the blind, reworking the orientation of the room. Now I have a good base to work with. We've got the craft desk area that I need to redesign now, because the idea of having that little display cabinet won't necessarily work behind the door, because the door opens up onto the desk. So I might have to plan that out a little bit better, look at my options. I have thought about maybe putting some floating shelves up there, but now it's pretty much back to the drawing board. I really want like a coastal boutique feel. There's this store called Frisky Deer in my area. I absolutely love going in there. It feels really bespoke. It's very coastal, very rustic, very collected and interesting. And I really love that vibe. So I think I'm drawing inspiration from that little store. So those are the 3 projects we have started. We're all over the house at the moment. It actually feels really great to just get started on these projects. Sometimes they just loom so big in your mind, and for me, I just feel antsy and I just want to get going. So it actually has been so beneficial starting these little projects. It's great to see them come to life and just see these little improvements happen in our house while we're waiting on things like furniture and having free Saturdays where my husband can actually do some woodworking in the house. Keep an eye out for the next few videos. I think we will be focusing more on that little area on the side of our house, finishing that off with some plants and some little garden decorations and things like that, and making it a really cute little whimsical area for our kids to play in. And then we'll probably finish off our daughter's room and our master bedroom. So lots of exciting projects coming up. We'll see you next time.